manufacturing. Extend smart manufacturing beyond your supply chain into marketing. My name is Marilyn Cox. I am the marketing principal within the Industry Solutions Group at the Oracle Marketing Cloud. And here's my contact information. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions at all about the stories discussed or best practices that are outlined in today's station. So this is going to start with a story. A couple of months ago, I was talking with a CFO of a scrap metal recycler and broker, and he shared a story about his company's long strategy meetings where sitting through them became this test of endurance. And he chuckled when he said that the HR director was always the first to tap out. So I asked him, what about marketing? And he said, well, they're not at the meetings. And I asked, well, are they invited? And he said, well, no. So here in this situation, marketing is not invited to these important pitchy sessions. It's really time for manufacturers to get smart, because as technology and data access grow, manufacturers are recognizing the opportunity found in smart manufacturing. Smart manufacturing really relies on integrating those channels within your supply chain and using that data output to make decisions on execution and to really set priorities. But smart manufacturing practices must extend beyond the supply chain. This is especially true when drivers behind the smart manufacturing trend include a long and strong customer focus, decisions that are really supported by data, and that need for efficient execution. But how many manufacturers extend these smart manufacturing practices beyond just operations? How many manufacturers evaluate their marketing analytics and place focus on alignment across marketing, sales, product management, and even beyond? You really have to deliver a strong customer focus. In manufacturing, there's an increased pressure to focus on relationship selling, and the emphasis on relationships is extending beyond the sale and into the customer and partner journey. According to Marketing Sherpa, only 27% of B2B leads are sales ready when first generated, and this really makes lead nurturing essential for capitalizing on the other 73%. So manufacturers must begin to engage throughout that entire journey. You also have to leverage your communication channels and seize every opportunity to engage. So you need to work with your channel partners to leverage product registration, introduce advocacy programs to identify existing channel and end user advocates, enhance relationships, and obtain feedback on products and services, and in the end, really identify future opportunities. This is a great example of an organization that really started to implement these practices. NXP Semiconductors wanted to be more than just a supplier to their customers. They really wanted to be more proactive with their customers and provide them with the information they needed beyond just the purchasing process. Because not only would this allow NXP to better service their customers, but they would be able to better respond to changes in the marketplace. And by better integrating systems and capturing more relevant customer data, NXP can now provide clearer guidance on resource allocation, which is going to result in a maximum ROI for their marketing objectives. In fact, they recognized a 40% cost savings in fulfillment process and a 90% reduction in fulfillment lead time. So think about really becoming that source of helpful content for your customers. And content can include blogs or technical documentation, CAD drawings, photographs, instructional videos, and of course customer testimonials. But it's necessary for a company to understand their brand message and make sure that they are developing and sharing content that aligns that message. Eaton Corporation saw an opportunity to engage with their audience, and they really found a great creative way to develop a content program that they leveraged across several channels. So they recognized that their audience, who is IT pros, know that they are, of course, the smartest, most powerful people in their companies, but they rarely get the recognition that they deserve. So Eaton set out to change that with an interactive game to select the world's greatest IT pro, the Eaton IT Grandmaster. And they created a twist on the classic arcade-style game. They created an online version of the Claw-O-Matic, and it stars Eaton's gang of desk toys as prizes. So the Claw-O-Matic provides IT pros with an opportunity to relive their adolescent years while also learning about Eaton UPS products and services. In the end, the grand prize was a Cabaret Dreamcade 2 arcade with a 19-inch screen and 144 built-in games, which is pretty impressive. Now, of course, in order to see the type of engagement that they were looking for, they knew that they needed to promote the IT Grandmaster and Claw-O-Matic in a way that would increase traffic to the campaign site. And so they used several social tactics like banner ads, social media, and other targeted media features with specific calls to action for users to begin the quest to become the Eaton IT Grandmaster and take a chance at winning a classic arcade-style game. Again, they really focused on social media, and the content that was developed was extended beyond just the simple call to action by beginning to delve deeper into specific challenges in the games and aspects of the prize package. So some of that content included written posts, photographs across Facebook, Twitter, Spiceworks, and they really became focused on stimulating frequent interaction. So all of the content that they published linked to the IT Grandmaster and Claw-O-Matic landing pages on their campaign site. Along with that, they also made sure to deliver communications across email, and eventually what they were focused on doing was really driving additional traffic to their blog called The Plug. So, The Plug is their website that really connects IT pros to news that matters. So it contains anything from day-to-day trends, thought leadership, weekly articles, case studies, even an Ask the Expert section. And it has a highly engaging weekly IT wrap-up that they do regularly. And so subscriptions are managed and distributed via their automation platform, and it allows them to customize that user experience for each individual. What's impressive, of course, is that this resulted in $80,000 worth of identified sales opportunities. At the time that Eaton shared this story, they had already closed $25,000. But what I also think is amazing is that they generated 42,000 new subscribers to The Plug. And again, this is a very highly engaging, frequently trafficked site. So here they have 42,000 new individuals that they're developing a relationship with on a weekly basis. So in the Eaton example, we talked about several different channels that this organization leveraged. And whether you call it multi-channel or omni-channel or cross-channel, it all really means the same thing. And honestly, it's a challenge. It's this unrealistic expectation of perfection. Communication channels are multiplying. You're tasked with communicating a consistent value message across email campaigns, direct mail campaigns, print and digital ads, social media, websites, blogs, events, press releases, partner portals, on and on and on. And with that comes the multiplication of audiences. So you have customers, partners, employees, policymakers, and each of these has a sphere of influence that's often very difficult to identify. Stem cell technologies recognized an opportunity in this increase in multiple channels when they realized that there were communication channels that they weren't effectively leveraging or tying into their marketing and sales program. They conducted this extensive channel audit and in the end found that they only had 3 lead sources that were tied to their multi-channel marketing tracking. So through the use of digital tools, they now have evaluated 21 different communication channels. They found that there were several channels that they weren't tying in, like live chat. And by expanding the inclusion of these channels and really aligning with sales and improving their opportunity scoring, Stem Cell has actually improved alignment, productivity, and they now have greater insight to marketing communication effectiveness. And it's through this orchestration of channels that you can really begin to understand both customers and resellers. And this is going to allow you to be more than just a supplier to your ecosystem. Dow receives thousands of requests for product samples every month. Sample management really has historically not only been an interesting challenge for this company, but it's also been an important one, which has had a really direct and potentially significant impact on their sales and revenue growth. But rather than trying to transform the sample management process, Dow decided to exploit this bottleneck by first streamlining the sample follow-up process. So when a sample is requested, it's shipped, and an email campaign is triggered to follow up with the customer. The email campaign includes basic questions to check that the sample was received, and it enables Dow to gather additional information on the customer's needs. So customers who respond to the sample follow-up campaign are then routed to the sales team. And this sample program now commands anywhere from a 40 to 50% response rate. Using the same type of process and focus, you can also gain insight into the needs of your resellers as well. So let's take a look at what Intel did, because in the beginning, Intel's regional channel managers were communicating directly with Intel's audience, their partner resellers. And they were doing this through numerous decentralized communication platforms. And this meant that Intel had a limited understanding of interests of their partners, really other than the volume of numbers. So through the development and integration of systems, Intel began to collect information around the digital body language of its resellers. They began to understand the motivations and behaviors of their resellers by providing the ability for resellers to pre-order products. This was a component that was actually built similar to a shopping cart system, using data cards within their database. And then they added an email inbox into their communications, so resellers could view emails that were previously sent to them using the web version URL served from a data card set. And they provided an event calendar so that resellers could view when events were taking place and register their interest in joining them. They also provided a rating system for parts of the site with new products or features, and this allowed resellers to vote for elements that were more relevant to them and drive the direction of the campaigns. This really provided Intel with a 360-degree view that sought after a universal profile of their resellers. So Intel could now enable and be more attentive to the needs of their resellers. And this universal profile for your contacts can really be obtained beyond traditional channels. Vallis utilizes marketing communication channels like trade shows and events, digital and print advertising, and gated content. And they're also starting to identify opportunity outside of some of these traditional digital communications. They recognize the opportunity to leverage another communication source, and in this instance, it was their technical support team. So customer support calls are logged into a database, and then the marketing team then segments that data and sends a follow-up email with a link to a survey form. That survey data is captured against the contact record, and by capturing this information, Vallis can further segment and personalize communications to improve the customer experience. So certainly customer intimacy, sales and reseller enablement, and communication effectiveness are all key benefits of digital marketing transformation. But revenue generation and cost savings are also objectives for many manufacturers. So let's look at marketing and sales productivity, because that's a common throughput bottleneck. EMC Islam found that not only did they need to improve productivity, but they also needed to increase revenue. And so they transformed their field event schedule from a series of disparate one-off events to an integrated multi-city roadshow. And they built it around a common quarterly theme, an invitation, registration, and reporting solution that they built in their marketing automation tool was created, combining an event module, a campaign module, and then a set of data cards with it. So within 2 quarters' time, they successfully scaled from 8 events to over 50 events that they delivered in 1 quarter across North America. And since the program inception, they can attribute nearly 500 marketing sourced opportunities and have delivered mid-8 figures in closed revenue. Manufacturers can finally begin to obtain that data insight to make smarter business decisions. And by capturing and analyzing an individual's digital body language across all channels, Companies can not only develop that sought-after universal profile, but they can also understand things like cost of recruitment efforts, cost of acquiring new customers and partners, and effectiveness of their communication outreach across regions. Companies can also begin to understand sales rep and partner revenue potential. You can see which reps and partners are not only driving the most revenue, but are also the most engaged. And you can also begin to understand which reps and partners have the greatest potential to grow revenue and which are generating the greatest return on investment. So in short, you can identify which reps and partners to invest in. It's through the development of this strong content and unification of digital channels and that focus on data forensics that manufacturers can grow their book of business, they can recruit and retain and enable resellers, and they can make the strategic business decisions based on fact and not just opinion.